Hey folks, it is Two Sheds Gabby. I'm back with another penny search today. This is the box of pennies that I pick up every week when I go to get my boxes of halves and my one box of pennies. Um, anyway, I went through all of them and I got kind of enders here. I got two 2009 memorials and one Canadian, but it looks like a newer one that's not copper. But anyway, I'll pop these three open first and see if there's anything else in there. Hopefully, we'll go. Hopefully, we'll get the 3 pounds of copper that I hope to get each week or each box, and hopefully, we'll get 10 wheat pennies as well. And anything else is a bonus. But anyway, let's. Oh yeah. I did a little looking up, and I found that in the last 100 years, they have minted nearly 500 billion pennies. And so here we are, out of 500 billion pennies, this is what we find today. Out of those three rolls, here's the two 2009s, two different of the designs. And I was right, the Canadian is a 2000 Canadian, not copper. I also got 32 copper pennies. That's pretty good. That's pretty shiny there, 1960. But that's almost 11 copper pennies per roll. That's a good start. Hope it keeps up. This is the 10th roll, and I finally come to my first wheat penny. 1945. Philadelphia looks like. The next roll after those first three only had two copper pennies in it. And I'd say the rolls after that have just been mixed. Some of them have had the 9 average and some of them haven't. So it's going to be one of those boxes where we get to the end and I'm just not going to be sure. Along with looking up and finding out how many pennies were produced in the last 100 years, I also saw that from 1921 to 2020, they have produced over 816 billion coins altogether. Is that crazy? And it was a total value of $169 billion. Wow. And I'm going through $25 of it. And we have one wheat penny. Copper is down a little bit more, I guess. Each copper penny today is worth 2.69 cents each. I hope it gets back up to that over 3 again real soon, but if it don't, that's okay. I'm just going to keep putting it away because it will eventually get there. Well, I'm playing with some numbers again. The first 11 rolls, I didn't weigh them, but so I thought, hey, let's do this one more time. The next 10 rolls I pulled out, and I've weighed them, and they are from 128.1 grams all the way up to 134.6. And I looked on my sheet from the other night to tell me approximately how much I would have in each roll. And then out of 10 rolls, if you average your 8.5 so that you can average your 3 pounds, you need 85 copper pennies to get your average weight that you need. But I added all of these up, and according to my averages, I should have 88. So let's see if we get that. I'll start going through them. If I get a wheat penny, I'll show you. But at the end of the 10, we'll see how close we've gotten. The first roll I opened was the lightest one. It had 128.1 grams, which should have only been 3 copper pennies, but there was 8. I'm like, wow, that is odd. Maybe I weighed it wrong. Anyway, after I finished, I counted them all up. There was only 49 pennies. It was a penny shy. So that explains it. That was pretty funny. But I lost a penny, but I gained value, right? Yep. In the second roll I open, I find me a Canadian copper coin. Got my first one of those. It's a 1970. Nice maple leaf. Cool. If y'all watch most of my videos, it's been over a week ago that I told you that I ordered some penny books. They have not arrived yet. I'm starting to wonder if they're going to show up at all. I look on the tracking. I mean, it looks like they haven't done anything. Another Wheatie, Cool Beans. 1946, this one. That's two of those. Fabulous. Put up there. I can't tell what that is. I'll just weigh it, and that'll give me a good idea. It's zinc. It's probably an 84. Hey, there's another 2009. That's my fifth 2009 already. I've had a few boxes that had like one or none, and now, like 13 rolls in, I've already got 5. And one of them was really nice. I just found wheat penny number 3. I think it's a 1956D. He's got him a protruding beard underneath his chin there. Back in the day, me and one of my buddies used to run around and just it's a messy one. Just see what kind of mischief we could get into. You know, we were drinking beer. 82. Let's weigh them because I'm counting how many I'm getting in each roll. How many coppers? And if we saw people walking around, you know, teenagers and whatnot, we just offer them a ride, just to make the day more fascinating. And one time there was a couple girls walking down the street, and we picked them up. And they just went with us that day, just running around. We'd go to people's houses and just barge in, kind of, and hang out for a little bit, then take off and go somewhere else. And just doing a lot of crazy stuff, you know. We were just busy, always doing something. And toward the end of the day, we were taking these girls home, or wherever it was, we was dropping them off. And one of the girls said, "This was the funnest day we've ever had." And we looked at each other and go, "Just a typical day for us." And she goes, my friend, she goes, "You want my phone number?" He goes, "No." She goes, "I'm going to give it to you anyway." Oh, that was hilarious. I don't think he ever called her. I had my share of girlfriends, but my friend just was one of those guys that the girls just liked him. Oh, so many girls just liked him so much, you know, they liked his looks or whatnot. And he didn't mess around. He would mess with their head. He would, sometimes, in my opinion, not very nice, but they liked it. It's crazy. I don't understand it, but what's going on there? Oh, we may have us a funny coin there. Something ain't right about that third number, the number between the 9 and the 3. And I'm going to say that it was a mint error, not just a error later. Let me look at that under the Tom Love here in a little bit. It's fun finding little things like this. I don't know. It looks to me like the lower hole in the 8 is still filled with metal, like some metal got left behind, or I don't exactly know how to describe it, but that's what it looks like. It looks like it's the same metal filling the bottom hole of the 8. This is the last roll out of the 10, and here is wheat penny number 4. $19.17, folks. Cool. Another one well over 100 years old. That's pretty fun to find. I do enjoy that, golly. Let me finish this roll out here and I will tell you how many copper coins I got out of the 10 rolls. Well, guess what? I got exactly 88. That's funny. I mean, that's what the scale said, but I thought it'd be off one or two. This is now the 5th roll in the second half of the box, and I come to wheat penny number 6. $19.44. Wheatie number 6. Okay, I came to this one here, and I just set it back down here. It was so green, I couldn't tell what it was. But I turned it over to the back, and I could just barely tell that it was a wheat penny. So I've just took a rag and I've been wiping at it, and I've wiped, I guess, more than half of it off. And it is a 1955 D. Anyway, that is wheat penny number 6. Yeah, wheatie number 6. That's cool. This little stand I'm using right now, it's cool in that it doesn't shake, like my hand does. Well, there it is because I just bumped it. But I just haven't gotten real used to it yet because of the way you have to set it up. I like it. I have another story to tell you. This is a weird one. The same fellow that I run around with a lot in that last story. We were out in just one of our usual days, just running around, seeing what we could get involved in. And we're driving down this road, and there's this old fella standing on the side of the road, just standing there. He didn't have his thumb out or anything like that. He was just standing there. If you'd asked me, I would say he was looking for a ride, but I don't know that for a fact. Oh, there's another Canadian 12-sided. In 1985, another copper one. That's cool. So anyway, we pull over to give him a ride if he wants one. And this is the weird part, folks, and I am not kidding at all. He had a crack in his forehead, and it wasn't bleeding. It was like dried up or something. It was pretty gross looking, but it was weird. He literally down, not the very center, but just off to one side a little bit, this crack all the way down his forehead. Like, it was weird. Didn't stop us none. We pull over and I hop out and I say, hey, and we had it was a Chevy Biscayne is what he was driving at that time. Bench seat. So I hop out and I say, hey buddy, you want to ride? And he just got in. He didn't say anything. He just got in. And so I reached around and I grabbed a beer and I popped it open and I put it in his hand. And I don't think he ever took a drink, but he never dropped it or anything. He just held it the whole time. And we're riding around and we picked up a few more people and they got in the back seat. And they're like, what's going on? Well, we found this fellow with the cracked head and we're just riding around with him. And we rode around with him for a few hours. Eventually, we didn't know what to do. He wasn't talking. So we eventually just took him back to where we found him. And I got out and he got out of the car. I'm going to go on a limb and say that he had a look of satisfaction on his face. I've often wondered about that fella. It's like, man, I wonder if there was like a nursing home around or something and he just walked out. There's probably people frantically looking for that poor fella. And here we are riding around with him, just having a good old time. If you had a family member in a nursing home that had a crack in his forehead and you all were scared you lost him, my apologies. We're talking probably somewhere around 77. That was a wild day. $500 billion pennies. Who would have known that I'd get this one? As long as I'm at it, check out the rainbow colors on this guy. Hope you can see that. Look at that. That's pretty cool. And I have 8 2009 memorials. That's more than I've gotten in quite a while. 5 rolls left in the box, and I come to wheat penny number 7, 1929. A little bit beat up. That's a pretty old one there. Philadelphia, 1929. Cool. Pretty neat. Oh, I have one more story to tell. Same fella, we're out running around in the old Biscayne, and we're coming through a pretty big intersection, pretty busy this day, and literally out in the middle of the intersection is this fella staggering, kind of hitchhiking. He's got a 6-pack of beer in his hand, but there's number 9. But it's the ring. They're held together with that plastic rings, and one of them's out. So he's holding 5 beers by that plastic ring, and the other beer in his hand. I mean, in the very middle of the intersection. And we're like, we got to give this guy a ride before he gets killed. So we pull over there, and I mean, it's traffic. It's crazy, but this guy's in danger. So he hops in. I hop out, and he hops in real quick. And he looks over at us, or I forget, one of us. He goes, "Hey, man, hey, man, hey, man, hey, man, hey, man." And then he passes out. Oh, he was out cold. And we rode around with him for a long time, and we picked up other people like we always do. And we ended up going to a park, kind of the back of a park, it's like sitting on picnic tables and stuff. And we're just hanging, we got music turned up, and we're drinking a few beers. And eventually this guy wakes up, and he comes and joins us, and we become friends with the guy. He's several years older than we are. Turns out he's an alcoholic. Let me get into the next row. Okay, next row. Anyway, he comes out and joins us, and we chat with him. Like I said, he was several years older than us, and he's an alcoholic, but he's just a real nice guy, real good guy. And in the wee hours of the morning, we ended up taking him home, another 82. But we actually went back and picked him up several times, and he would spend the evening just running around with us, and drinking and whatnot. And when we'd pick him up, he'd be sober, and he wasn't sure on his feet. I don't know how to describe it, but he would get a few beers in him, and that's where his functioning state was. He functioned better when he had a few beers in him, and I'm sure it is attributed to his alcoholism. But then, of course, he would get a few too many, and then he'd be back to the fella going, "Amen, amen, amen." But we spent that summer. He was with us several times, and just a super nice guy. I feel bad. It's been so many years now. I cannot remember his name. I can remember where he lived, but I can't remember his name. Another 82. Hope that he got over it and did well. Another 82. Just 4 more rows, folks, and we'll be done. And we'll see if we got our 3 pounds or not. Just 1 row to go after this, but here is wheat penny number 8. 1958D. Probably a real good chance we're not going to get our 10, but I'm hoping that I get at least really close to my 3 pounds, if not actually getting it. One more roll. The 1982 pennies that were copper came to over 92 grams. Well, here comes our moment of truth. Hey, we got it. Just barely did. 3 pounds, that's cool. We got it. Only got the 8 wheat pennies, but we got over 3 pounds of copper. Pretty good box. Of course, after you finish a box, it comes cleanup time. I got to take all the zinc and put them in the bag. I take the wheat pennies and the Canadian pennies and all of them and put them in their respective places and get my mess cleaned up. I got to move my mat because probably tonight or tomorrow I got to pull some products out and list some products with the business, the guy that I sell for. So there's always stuff to do at the end. But anyway, thanks for watching, guys, and we'll see you next time around.